a scion of many worlds. The axiom flows into him, slow and careful, much like the additions he's making to his own body. After Magrica freaked out, he had to concede that it was a bad idea to rush his organs being regrown. It was still happening, though. He was just taking it very slowly and carefully. He needs to be able to retain more energy than just the freaking axiom. If there's null on the field, he does not want to be reduced to a puppet with his strings cut. That means fat cells, funnily enough. Go figure that something seen as unappealing would actually be an important part of the human body, or in this case, an upgraded eartheny body. But he needs to store and retain excess calories. Otherwise, any loss of axiom will hurt if not kill him. Either that or develop so much muscle that it can burn itself to keep him moving. Or both. Both is good. Fat cells, a more robust endoskeleton, more nerve development around and in his claws for better control, a more robust digestion and respiratory system. The sheer gaps that were in his biology were as fascinating as they were terrifying. It's no wonder cruel space is named as such. Null would render him blind, deaf, immobile, and quickly dead. He would have maybe 5 minutes if he didn't have so much raw axiom bullshit in his body. Still, he's been focusing, improving his mind and memory. He could tell you the taste of textbooks he's only seen in passing, the bits about human organs, the little diagrams in basic science texts. Accurate enough that he's already working on building more of everything. But he's already burned through most of the calories he's taken in while they were still in the forest, and pushing further now that he's running on the local energy field just seems like a bad idea. There's an almost serene calm to the flying now. They've been at it for the entirety of the night and most of the day. He's going to need more water soon. However, he can make do with the axiom. He doesn't want to, but he can. Just the thought of complaining brings back memory of drill sergeants, and he pushes it out of his mind. Although he does need to do something to fill the silence. It's really starting to grate on him. So, he begins, and Magrica looks at him oddly, as if somewhat affronted that he would interfere with the journey with conversation. So, why do you only have a couple of straps for clothing? Wouldn't some form of armor, or at least well-padded cloth, serve better? He asks, and she tilts her head before shrugging. I did have some proper chainmail and a gambeson not long ago. But the problem with being a hunter of monsters and seeker of adventure is that you come across strange things. A lightning storm granted great power to a lodestone as I did battle with a great beast. It dragged me to the lodestone and would have held me helpless if I didn't use my wings to cut myself out. In my haste, I stripped naked rather than just cutting the metal away. A load? Oh, a natural magnet. Wow, you were lucky not to be hit by the lightning in a storm like that. Wearing metal and flying at those times is a bad idea. So you're saying you want to land? Magrica asks, and he gives her a confused look. Can't you taste it? There's a storm coming. Then we should land. Being high up when lightning dances across the sky is never wise. Fair enough, I was waiting for you to notice, to be honest. This is a new body. I can't tell if I'm sensing a storm or indigestion. I don't know it yet, Jasper protests, and she giggles a little at the idea. Then you shouldn't have eaten so much. Come along, let's find some shelter, she says, before diving down, and he follows by easily folding his upper wings down overtop his lower wings and uses all four to steer the dive. She pulls out at the last moment, and he matches it to keep pace as they start weaving among the hills. There are small caves, and after a bit, Magrica pulls into one and he flutters to a stop near the entrance and looks in. What makes you think that I can fit into there? He asks after a few moments, and she sighs. Her wings lash out and the stone cracks up before detonating outwards. He lands after dodging the blast and steps into the widened cave. Basic stone-breaking silly moth. Stonecutters make use of it all the time. Magrica notes before there's another crack, and the cave widens again. A huge chunk of rock is tossed out, and Jasper outright catches it and sends Axiom into it to reshape it into a leaning door that he puts to the side. "Hey, go out and hunt something, will you? There are boar spine serpents around here. The meat's real good. There are also spine tubers. They cook real well and pair wonderfully with the serpents." "Yeah, all right. Should I look out for firewood too?" "I've got the firewood and shelter. Just get the food and don't worry about water. It's coming to us," Magrica says, and Jasper churns that over in his mind for a moment before shrugging. He'll panic when the local guide does. "All right, 2 serpents each and an armful of tubers." Jasper considers it, wondering exactly how big the snakes are. "Sounds like a meal," Magrica says, and he nods. "So they're likely the size of garden snakes then." With poison being a rare trick in the Axiom parts of the galaxy, snakes don't really have much to scare him. He quickly flies up and gives his antenna a bit of a flick around to mostly just feel them move forward. The hills are thriving with life. The earth is covered in grass, shrubs, and some trees. The stones are usually accompanied by a thick coating of moss, and tiny things dart around in the undergrowth. He swoops to a nearby hill and flies low to get as clear an image as he can. He can sense somewhat into the earth, but it bleeds away quickly past about a meter, which is still plenty deep enough for him to notice an incredible variety of life, such as the burrows of some small creatures that link together to form small cave systems in the soil and just under the roots of the grass. There's a flicker of something long, and he grabs at it before pulling back to find a large serpent, as thick as his arm and as long as his body, writhing in his grip as its Axiom camouflage fades. A quick grab of its head, and he punctures into its brain to stop it for good. That's one boar spine. Or at least he's assuming it's one, as it has a spiny pattern along its body when not camouflaged. He'd also yanked it out of a tunnel it was digging down or boring into the earth after the little things that scurried underground. "Paladin Mary Allure, I must admit you have never before come to us in failure. I am uncertain how to progress," Grand Midwife Lady Morgana notes as Lady Allure kneels before her. "I'm sorry, milady. The Altered One referred to himself as a Sergeant of the Undaunted. Magrica the Massive referred to him as Horus. The Altered One fought like several warriors at once. They tore my weapon to pieces, danced around the blows of my soldiers, and was utterly fearless in battle," Lady Allure says before thinking. "Why was I not warned about their battle prowess? It's one thing to recover a holy relic. Even a living one can be easily retrieved. But a holy warrior? A hostile holy warrior? That's a very, very different problem. We are not here to discuss why you failed, only that you dared to..." The image of Grand Midwife Lady Ashen begins only for the image of Lady Karis to silence her with a glare. "Sister, more patience is needed. Our paladin is correct. It is unfair, unwise, and unreasonable to expect her to retrieve an actively hostile holy artifact. Miladies, why is the artifact hostile? Who are the Undaunted? What is a Horus? And from where did this thing come from? How dangerous is it? This artifact, if left unchecked, could cause the entire world to rip itself asunder in war," Lady Ashen says, pulling herself up on her coils to sit a little higher as she is projected into the temple. "He can bring this world into war unending. If we're to contain the threat, then we have to look at the situation frankly and without delusion. Lady Allure, the artifact is an eartheny man. He is not twisted. He is not tainted or injured or ill. He is a man, the lost part of all races upon Lacron, the male, the breeder, the seeder, that which places life within the woman so that she may bear young. But that's what our order does. Well, not my part, I protect midwives, but the order as a whole is what creates life. It isn't natural, Lady Allure. It is a measure of desperation. All are taught that their ancestors came to Lacron in the midst of great disaster. What they are not taught is that there was something of near indescribable value lost in the disaster. The men, the males, they bore many titles. Father, if they helped to seed your life. Brother, if they were born of the same mother or father. Grandfather was a generation removed. Son was if you were so blessed that you bore a man. But they had another title, one that will be very dangerous in the days to come, Karis says as she fluffs out her wings and then resettles. Is it undaunted? Lady Ailur asks in suspicion, and there is some slight laughter. No, undaunted is unknown to us as a title. Karis was alluding to the title of husband. It is akin to a cross between midwife and lover. This, Horus, he is Earthani, meaning his time of agitation is when the rains pour down. When the air grows wet and the beating of raindrops sound out, he will grow desirous, and he will feed that desire by mating. Lady Ashen says, and Ailur looks shocked. What? And each time he mates, there is a chance, a very good chance that a child shall be conceived. But what is guaranteed is that he will steal the loyalty of whomever he lays with. To make matters worse, much of the world is already addicted to the act, including all within this room. Us, you. We have all felt the burning loins. By quenching the burn, we have all tasted a small piece of what it is to lay with him. What? The burning loins is not a simple agitation like the bleeds. It is a sign of readiness for a man. There is only one upon the world, and he broke free right at the beginning of the storming season. Unless by some miracle the clouds stray far from his path, his own loins will burn, but he will quench them in the nearest women and breathe life into her, even as he secures her loyalty and brings her to great bliss. This is madness. Is this creature a demon? Some kind of mind-stealing monster? No. This is because life is sacred and precious. It is ultimately a man's place in existence to breed and bring life. It is a holy calling, but he has also been taught the ways of battle and has grown comfortable with it, which is concerning. Lady Karis remarks, "What is the mission, my ladies? Much of this I will need to consider, but if there is a quest, then let me hear it so I may begin." "Temper your eagerness, Lady Ailur. We have been caught off guard once. We have sent a mission to Thorax village. If there is any knowledge to be had, then it will be likely found there." "Why?" Ailur asks. "He is an Earthani. He will seek his own no matter how strange he is, if for no other reason than to seek the measure of the local Earthani." Lady Morgana says calmly, "Rest yourself, Paladin. Things have occurred that none of us could have predicted. We must keep peace upon Lacran." I still don't fully understand how one, effectively a single rogue midwife, unable to teach their art to others, can be a threat. Because he can teach his art to others. When a man is used to plant the seeds of life, there is a chance for another man to emerge. The chance is small, but not insignificant. If he is within a large town or a city when the rains come down upon him, then there will be dozens, perhaps even hundreds of pregnancies. Of them, there is almost a guarantee to be at least one man born among them all. After some years, when he has grown of age and reaches the time of the burning loins in his life, he shall do the same. The entire time his father is doing the same. If he sires only 10 sons, and those sons sire 10 sons, and they sire 10, then within 3 generations we have thousands of rogue midwives running about the world. Then what happens to our ability to force peace among the queendoms? It is lost forever. If we can't threaten them with sterility, then they won't cease their wars," Lady Ailur says as all 4 of her eyes widen in terror. "Even if they're planning only to live peacefully, they will cause oceans of blood to be spilt. And they will begin wars. Half of all brigands, if not more, are in fact soldiers who have already had daughters going out to harm their enemies. Not to mention there is not a single nation that isn't attempting to provoke their enemies into extinction." Lady Karis mutters angrily. There is silence for a moment before Lady Morgana smiles. "Ah, It appears the mission has been of some success. She withdraws a far-speaking orb from her robe and allows it to float before her. Around it, the image of Lady Cuthbert and Elder Granzy of Thorax Village appear. "My ladies, they've been here." Elder Granzy offers her full cooperation but warns me that she told both Magrica the Massive and our missing Altered One, who has now taken the name of Jasper Blue, that she would be doing as such. Lady Cuthbert announces, and all three heads of the Grand Midwives nod. "Attempting to keep neutral, are we?" Lady Caris asks pointedly. "Keeping neutral, milady. I have no interest in angering a pair of powerful warriors while they are in the midst of my village or inspiring them to revenge. But I have even less interest in opposing the Grand Midwives. I will tell you all I have learned freely and without recompense." Elder Granzy states, and there is some nodding. First and foremost is the origins of the unusual Earthani Jasper. He is unlike any being I have even imagined. How so? He was not born. He was crafted. His body was formed from a tuft of fur somehow made to grow an entire Earthany from it, then left to sleep for eternities without awakening. Much of these eternities had the being that crafted his body, a great spider weeping over his sleeping form and often moving to destroy or wake it, but never actually doing so. "What?" Lady Morgana asks in shock. "What does that mean?" "I can only tell you what I saw, not what it means. My knowledge is limited," Elder Granzy states. Anyways, everything changes when the spider brings a strange band and places it upon his sleeping brow. She lays it there for a moment before sealing him into a crystal coffin and sending him into the stars. "I don't understand. Why would she do that?" Lady Allure asks. "I do not know. However, what Jasper himself has said has filled in some blanks," Elder Granzy says. "The band was used as part of a healing ritual, one so powerful that time itself can be thrown back, but dangerous because memory can be undone by its power. That's what the band is for. It retains the shape of the soul and allows memories to be held. This band was stolen and then used upon the body of the sleeping Earthani to put a copy of the mind of a man named Horace Blue into it. The body is centuries old. The mind has a little more than 30 years of memories, and they've been joined together for less than a season. Which leads the question as to what kind of soul is in that body. It's one thing to have a man running around, but what kind of man is he?" Lady Caris asks. "A warrior. He explains as serving upon a warship called the Dauntless, and how it has given birth to a type of people called the Undaunted. It carries an oath which I do not know, and an idea. One which has him facing forward as if nothing can stop him. He can already smell the victory feast he claims." "That sounds like the mountain clans," Lady Allure notes. "Yes, Magrica was very excited," Elder Granzy notes calmly. "Anything else?" Lady Caris asks. "They are heading north to Aridus Valley to speak with the Order of the Star Seekers. Jasper hopes to use their power to contact his brother, the being from which his mind and soul was twinned. If it works, then the Undaunted will come here to retrieve him." "Are you telling us that an entire army worth of men is soon to descend upon this world?" Lady Ashen exclaims. "Paladin Allure, you have a chance to redeem yourself. Go to Aridus Valley and stop them from summoning that army. The world is already on the brink of war. Their outside interference will cause countless lives to be lost." "He just wants to return to his own kind," Elder Granzy protests, "and in doing so he may bathe this entire world in blood and misery. We lost nearly everything in the disaster that left us upon Lacron, and he risks destroying what's left. I see that things are going to be interesting in the upcoming times. I only ask that my small village and people be left alone. I have offered all my cooperation and told you everything. The only thing left are small details, such as that he's now wearing clothing, had some hesitation in using his proboscis to eat, considers his claws to be crude and brutal weapons. Small things such as that. Yes, yes, Thorax village has not earned our ire. If anything, you've earned our favor with your cooperation. Lady Cuthbert, return to us. Lady Morgana states, and there's a nod from the knight and the image cuts off. Lady Allure, as much as Lady Ashen and I will disagree at times, she is correct in that you need to head off this Jasper. He and Magrica are now a great threat to the stability of the world, and if you cannot capture them both, kill them. My lady? The storms are descending upon the area surrounding Aridus Valley. This Jasper will soon have burning loins that he will quench. At the very least, Magrica will be pregnant and she has a possibility of having a son. But it's a sacred thing to, Lady Allure protests. I know. It goes against the very heart of our beliefs to attack an expectant mother. However, if we do not, then there will be unimaginable bloodshed, Lady Ashen says before sighing. I understand that I am often seen as cruel and unrelenting, but there are things that must be done to maintain peace upon Lacran. If you cannot bring them to one of our temples, then send them to their ancestors. Yes, milady, I shall, Lady Allure says, looking down in shame.